And we are live! Hello, everyone, and welcome. I would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we're based is the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of New Credit First Nation, the Haudenosaunee, the Huron-Wendat, and home to many diverse Indigenous peoples. We honor all the First Nation, Métis, Inuit, and Aboriginal people who have been living on the land since time immemorial. Hi everyone, my name is Jessie Wong, and on behalf of the SheEO team, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our SheEO Australian Simulcast, Australia pictured right here on our world map. Whether you're an activator, a venture applicant, or you're brand new to SheEO, thank you so much for joining us this morning for this exciting moment. This simulcast, as you may know, is kicking off our second year of radical generosity in Australia. And in addition to all of those tuning online at home or at your office, at this very moment we have 4 live viewing parties across the country taking place in Gold Coast, Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. Hello to everyone watching, and thank you so much for joining. So throughout the next about 45 minutes, 2 things to note. First off, please feel free to type any questions or comments in the chat box, and my lovely colleague Caitlin, who's sitting beside me, will be happy to support. First off, we'd love to hear where you're joining in from, so feel free to use the chat box now. Secondly, we'd love for you to share your experience on our simulcast today, living out loud on social media. So whether you're watching at home in Perth, shout out to you because we know it's 6 a.m. over there, or you're with colleagues at the office, please share your experiences and amplify the stories that you'll hear today from our SheEO activators and ventures. Remember to tag us at SheEO and to use the hashtag Radical Generosity so that we can amplify your posts. But first, for those who are new to SheEO, we'd first love to provide an overview of SheEO and how our model works. SheEO launched in 2015 as a new model to radically transform how we fund and support women entrepreneurs. Our focus is on women who are working on the world's to-do list, so women-led ventures who have social and environmental impact. While representation of female founders on panels, in accelerators, and in the media has improved, we still have a very long way to go. Last year in Australia, only 3% of venture capital funding went to all female-founded teams. We as a community believe that the only way this will change rapidly is if we as women start stepping up to support and to fund each other. So here is how our SheEO model works. Each year per region, we gather 500 radically generous women who we call activators. Any woman can become an activator. Our current range in age is 14 to 95, and activators represent women from all walks of life, ages, and stages. Those activators each make a radically generous contribution of $1,100, 100 of which is a program fee that helps us cover day-to-day operations, and 1,000 goes directly into a fund in Australia that is then used to fund and support women-led ventures in Australia. So all that money is pooled together and then it's loaned out to 5 women-led ventures that all the activators, you get to go online and vote to select the companies that you're passionate about and that you want to support. Those ventures then get the funding in the form of a 0% interest loan. They pay it back over the course of 5 years. And each year, as the money's paid back into the fund, we loan it out again to support more ventures over time. So shout out to all of the women who have already been activators and to those who are interested. You are helping create a perpetual fund for Australian women entrepreneurs that will be passed forward and cycled in perpetuity to support generations of female founders, our daughters and our granddaughters. At SheEO, the selected ventures not only receive funding, but they also receive coaching and access to a radically generous community of women, 4,000 around the world, who can support them as customers, advisors, follow-on fund investors, and so much more. And at SheEO, our focus is really all about the relationships and the community. And activators also support each other and get support from this incredible network. Since launching in 2015, 4,000 radically generous women of diverse backgrounds, ages, and stages have collectively contributed $4 million to support 53 women-led ventures who are working on the world's to-do list. This is our second year in Australia, and today we are so excited for the opportunity to hear from 4 activators and our first 5 SheEO Australian ventures about what being part of a radically generous community has meant to them and the impact that we have created together. But before we turn it over to Australia, we'll first hear from SheEO founder Vickie Saunders, who is joining in from Toronto. Over to you, Vickie.
Am I unmuted? Can you hear me? All right. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm in Toronto today. I was in New York this morning with Jesse. We were doing an event there, which was so amazing with one of our ventures. And, you know, one of the things that's really just starting to blow my mind is how connected we are all becoming. There are people traveling from country to country around the world. People are starting out conversations. Are you an activator? It's this community that's really starting to grow, and we're very, very excited about all of it. And I would say that the time has never been more prescient for an idea like this. The sky feels like it's falling in so many ways if you open the newspaper each day and you look at the challenges we're facing. And one of the things that is still just incredible to me is when given the chance to invest in the kind of companies that we're interested in and trusting the intuition of thousands of women, we continue to pick incredible female-led founders, female-led ventures who are working on the world's to-do list. And those first 5 ventures that were selected in Australia are absolutely incredible. I can't wait for you to hear from them today. And this is one of those things where we've got 53 ventures now. And we created these cards to showcase who those ventures are. And when we put them all out on a table, it's like a full card deck almost. And when I look at that, I think if women were actually in charge of putting the money towards the kind of companies that create a better world, our economy would look so different. If we decided to step forward and fund those kinds of businesses that we really need in the world, everything would change. So this first initial group of people that you're going to hear from today, the amazing women in Australia, are women who are working on the world's to-do list. And that's a phrase that we use to describe the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So you're going to hear a bit about that. And the other piece that is really critical to the work that we're doing at SheEO is searching for new mindsets and new models and new solutions that are going to get us to a better world. So it's not just about funding female founders, but those who have great new ideas about how to run business, about how to hire people with employment barriers, about how to run carbon positive ventures, about how to stop this extractive practice and winner takes all mindset that creates so much inequality. So I can't wait to hear from everybody. And the one thing I wanted to just say before I close up here is what is so unique about Australia that we've noticed that's really different than all other countries is how amazing you all are at sharing each other's stories. Your social media is completely off the charts. I have this phrase that I call about living out loud. And it's something that I find that most of us don't do. And yet, I don't know what is in the sauce in Australia, but you guys are amazing at that. There's always an amplification. People are tagging each other online. There's this beautiful sort of online sisterhood that we really want to learn from you. And we talk about it everywhere we go. We're like, we're not sure how they do this in Australia, but they're so great about telling these stories. And so thank you very much for showing us how that can really make a difference in bringing these kinds of stories to life. So Jay, I'm going to pass it back to you. Is that what's next?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Vickie.
Thank you.
And so next we are going to go to Brisbane, where we are really honored to have Minister Kate Jones, the Honourable Minister for Innovation and Tourism, Industry Development, and Cross River Rail, who is also a SheEO activator. So first we'll hear from Kate. Over to you in Brisbane.
Well, thank you so much. And it was just wonderful to be a part of this global connection here this morning. And thank you for those great words about how women in Australia support each other. I think, you know, the SheEO movement has done anything. It's shown us that when we take control of our own destinies, we back our brightest and most talented, then we can absolutely tackle some of those global challenges. So I'm really excited to be here today with all of these great women from across the world.
And can I just say, on behalf of the SheEO activators and ventures in Queensland, but Australia more broadly, I am so excited about the Queensland government's leadership that they have taken with coming. I asked Kate and she said, yes, it's amazing what happens when you ask, ladies. I asked her, would she personally become an activator? And she did. And on the back of that, they have now also supported 10 other women, mostly from regional Queensland, and specifically Indigenous women, to become part of the movement and really start to learn and enjoy about what a global system of change that helps fund women that are solving the world's to-do list really looks like. So thank you so much, Kate, for taking that leadership. It's been remarkable.
Awesome.
And of course, one of the people that actually was the recipient in the first round is the tremendous Yaz with the world's biggest garage sale, who actually is, I'm so proud of now because she's going through a global fundraise on the back of SheEO. And I know that's a hard thing for women. Yaz has just done a remarkable job. So Yaz, can you share a little bit about your year?
Yeah, sure can. So I became an activator really early when SheEO was first announced. As a mother of 2 daughters, I thought, oh my God, I have to get behind this. Let's get some women funded. And I never at the start thought or even imagined becoming a venture. And then someone tapped me on the shoulder, thank you, Monica, and said, yes, you have to apply. And like I think most women, my initial first reaction was, oh no, not me. But I actually leant in and was really encouraged by Julie Trell and Holly Ransom and other SheEO activators who said, you've got nothing to lose. It's an easy application. So I went in, I filled out the application, and it was just so thrilling to actually be one of the first 5 inaugural winners of the venture. And what makes it most special for me is that it was the activators that voted. And as an activator, I got to see all the applications myself and vote for some of the ventures that actually got funded, and see some of our Indigenous ventures out there in Queensland, in remote Queensland, who while this time didn't get funded, I honestly was not the only person without dry eyes when Vickie announced at the summit that we were going to allocate a venture position to an Indigenous female founder. So it's absolutely thrilling. Yeah, thank you, Vickie, for taking that initiative. And I don't think there would have been one objection in the room that day out of 300 plus women. So for me, it's really transformed our business. I was like, oh, not really a girly girl. This is not for me at the start. But when I went to the summit, I thought, oh my God, these women are just like me. They're strong, powerful, caring, loving, with empathy. And that's how women lead businesses. And that's why women ventures need to be funded, because when we have the balance, then we can have the strongest leadership of all. And our government now represents that. And I'd like to see Queensland lead the way with the wonderful programs that we have. I know that we can make a true difference. I've met the other 4 ventures and they blew my mind instantly. We're all amazing friends now, and it's incredible. As someone that hasn't had a lot of female friends in my life, and I'm being really vulnerable now, but that's what we should be together. Those 4 women are incredible. You'll hear from them and you'll be so inspired by the work that they're doing. And again, that's what we do. We do inspiring work and we should be proud of it. I can't name all the people in the SheEO activator space who have helped me, because I know I'll leave someone out, but there are dozens of them. And I certainly do want to give one special shout out to MJ Ryan, the coach for SheEO. We meet fortnightly on Zoom, and she is just the most amazing leader I think I've ever met in my entire life. Calm yet fierce, loving and passionate, and really thought-provoking. And with her leadership and coaching, it's really enabled our business to get to the stage it's at. And we are almost at the point of closing our round. We are super excited and we can't wait to scale this business and do SheEO proud.
Awesome. We've got one last secret announcement, but you can't tell anyone.
What is it?
Well, we've worked really hard in Queensland, and thanks to the wonderful support of both the Queensland Government and Brisbane City Council, we're excited to tell you that on the 2nd of April next year, 2020, we'll be bringing the National SheEO Conference to Brisbane. Woo! So come on down, come to our great city.
We'd love
come
to
and
see
share the
you.
love. We've got some great assets here, and we'd love you to come spend a couple of days with the wonderful SheEO network of Queensland and come and join us on the 2nd of April 2020.
Yay, go Queensland.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Monica, Kate, and Yaz, who are joining us from Brisbane, and hope to see you all at the next Australian Summit, April 2nd in Brisbane. So next we are going to hear from one of our SheEO ventures, Jenny Brown, who's joining us from Tasmania. Over to you, Jenny.
Thanks, Jessie. It's great to be here. Great to see you, Vickie. Great to see all the activators and venturers. Yeah, it's been ages since we've seen one another. So just as Yaz said, it's a fantastic thing to be part of. I can't thank everyone enough for the support that's given to us. There's so many activators that get behind you and support you. The teamwork between us venturers especially, it's like a sisterhood that we seem to have established. It's just been an amazing experience. Fantastic program. So I mean, we've gone leaps and bounds just in this last 6 months, and it's purely just from the introductions that we get from different people that the activators introduce you to. So I'd encourage any women out there to get behind this program, and basically for other women that are in business that want to do this, it's so easy. So thoroughly recommend anyone to try this. So it's great to see you all, and I can't wait to be in Brisbane on the 2nd of April. So look forward to that, Monica. So thanks, Jessie, and away to you.
Jenny, before we finish with you, would love for if you could tell everyone about your business in Voronex. And Vickie also had a question, which is whether you're expanding to another region.
I thought that might be a question. We've currently got a grant application in with Queensland Government. So we've got through the first stage. So now currently working on getting our application finalised for the second part of this. So hopefully we're in Queensland before April the 2nd, which would be fantastic. So what we do is we are a plastics manufacturer. We also collect waste plastic and then remanufacture it back into new products. So everything that we make, we guarantee that we can recycle it yet again and take it back again. So we definitely close the loop on our products. And we're very pleased to be able to, at this stage, we're meeting about 11 of the 17 UN global goals. So we're very pleased with that. Thanks, Jessie.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jenny. And next we're going to hear from Nicola, who is one of the SheEO Ventures Go-Go events, who is joining us today from Perth, where it's very early in the morning. So thanks for being with us here, Nicola. Over to you.
Thanks so much, Jessie, and thank you for sharing about your story, Jenny. That is so exciting to me, and I am very emotional actually, because I feel so honoured to be here on behalf of Sarah, our fearless leader and CEO of Go-Go Events, and to be in this group of inspiring women is very moving to me. So I'm going to try and keep it together. I'm also PMSing, so that's just the way of things. So Go-Go Events is a social enterprise, and we are creating employment pathways for people facing homelessness. Our mechanism to do this is through events of very small and large scales, and our focus there is for them to be intimate and impactful and meaningful for the guests and for our partners. I met Sarah initially when she was my mentor when I was launching my own social enterprise, and there was a synergy between us, and I've come on board to work on strategy and business growth, and that is a really big part of what being a SheEO venture has enabled us to do, and that's grow. So there's 3 key areas that has really shown up in, and that first is in personnel. So our tiny team has gone from 1.5 to nearly 2.5 people, and for the first time ever we've got a marketing and growth strategy to, 1, not only grow the business and our profitability, but 2, to expand our impact, which is obviously the driving force behind what we do. The reason that Sarah's not on this webinar this morning is that she is at a pitching workshop for the Funding Network, which is coming to Adelaide specifically to raise capital for enterprises that are trying to, help people out of homelessness into meaningful, stable employment. So that's super exciting. We're hoping to raise some funds for our pilot program. which is really to take people from homelessness to stable employment within a 6 to 9 month period. So we're really excited for that for next year and hoping that this funding will help us do that. It's been a really big couple of months for us. Normally, Go-Go events might do 12 events a year. We've done something like 15 in the last 3 months. So we're really running. There's quite a pace about what we're doing now. And that's really, it's a huge part of what it has meant to be a SheEO venture is everything we've been able to achieve. So we really wanted to acknowledge the role of activators that have supported us. Julie, for example, Julie Trell on the webinar here, connected us to someone who enabled the team to travel to Byron Bay for an unconference, which I have to share that our at-risk staff that were able to attend that was a life-changing experience for them. The feedback that we got, was that they would never have anticipated an inspiring experience like that, and the confidence that it gave them was very, very meaningful. So thank you so much for allowing that to happen through your connections. And also someone like Trena Probert, who Sarah has shared just through her confidence in Go-Go, her encouragement and belief in what we're doing has really helped us be bold in our business strategy and how we're going to go forward. So these are just a couple of the really powerful examples. And of course, we want to mention MJ as well. So Sarah has her catch-ups with MJ, and she always comes off the call feeling really motivated and clear. I think that's really important for our businesses. And so they talk about things, not just, finances and strategizing with the board, but also, wrangling teenagers as well. So, it's really holistic. And Sarah did share one time she was feeling really stretched and challenged. And the next day she received an SMS from MJ, and that was to say, when you're feeling like it's all too much, to bring into your vision the faces of the people that support you and know that they are there to give you courage. And I think that's a huge example of what SheEO is. It's like having invisible comrades in the wings, to speak. I think that's the Brené Brown phrase, to really have encouragement behind the work that you're doing, to know that you're not alone. So if you're remotely interested in being part of this network as a venture or an activator, we really encourage you to do so. It's such a meaningful experience, and the things that we've been able to achieve as a result of SheEO is really exciting, and we're so excited for the future. I'm going to wrap there, and I'm going to hand back to you, Jessie, and thanks again for having me part of this conversation.
Nicola, that was so beautiful. We're really honored to be in this community with you, and thank you so much for sharing your powerful words with us. Honored to support you. Alrighty, next up we are going to Sydney, where we will hear from 4 speakers. What I love about the SheEO network is that no matter where you are, you will find and connect with local activators. And Vickie mentioned earlier how we were traveling, and just last week in London, we were there with a New Zealand venture who came to some of our events to meet the local community. And in Sydney, we have one of our ventures who's based in Melbourne, who happens to be in town, and one of our activators who's based in Queensland, who happens to be in town. So we have 4 speakers that we're going to hear from. First off, it's Lucinda from Neighborlytics. And just as a reminder to our ventures to please first tell us about your amazing businesses. Alrighty, over to you, Lucinda.
Thanks so much. What an exciting morning. I'm absolutely loving hearing stories from around the world, and from our fellow ventures, your updates just continue to inspire and amaze. So my name's Lucinda. I'm a co-founder of Neighborlytics. We're a social analytics platform for neighbourhoods that measures the quality of life and well-being of cities. And our real innovation is that the way that we do that is through their big data or their digital footprint, rather than traditional data sets like the census. So we've had an incredibly exciting year. Off the back of the SheEO Summit and being able to receive a loan from SheEO in April, we then raised a venture capital round, which we closed mid-year, and that's meant a massive transformation for our business as we're looking to scale. So our goal is to be in 100 cities within 3 years and really transform the way that the property sector works. Currently, the property sector prioritizes traffic, building, air quality, all really important environmental sustainability things, but the human connection, culture and social sustainability are often less visible, and we're transforming that. So raising capital is really important for us to be able to scale our approach to do that. I wanted to talk about this, and this is for those ventures in the room, they'll be familiar with this framework for MJ, but what the last 6 months has looked like in terms of our company, our team, and for me personally. We're really working around achieving Sustainable Development Goal 11, which is for cities. And that's one that's really close to me, actually, because in my early career, I had the opportunity to shape some of the indicators of that when I was working for the UN a decade ago. So it's really amazing to have this sort of come full circle and be working on the implementation side. So as a company, recommendations and connections from the Activator network as we've gone about recruitment. Personally and as a team, I guess the main focus of our conversations with MJ have really been about team. I think, as most of you will be familiar, growing a business is so much about your company and not just what you do. And Jessica, my co-founder, who's not here today, we are really trying very hard to have a shared leadership model. She's CEO, I'm head of growth, but we really share the leadership.
Appears we may be having some Wi-Fi difficulties on the Sydney side, so please hold with us. Oh, they just left, but I imagine we will see them very shortly. Perfect, you're back, Lucinda.
Great. We couldn't do that without at least one glitch, I think. I think I was saying what we're really trying to achieve with Neighbourlytics, and as many companies are, is a model of shared leadership. It's a very hard thing to do in a world that wants to recognise a single hero founder. And what we've spent a lot of time working with MJ on is our relationship as co-founders and how we can really make that work when everyone tells you that it can't. That's been incredibly exciting to be at this point. MJ's also given us so much advice as our team has grown from 5 to 15 since April, and so that's a big step change for us. And then personally, I feel like I found my tribe, my people. I think I've, probably to Yaz's point before, been perhaps unreasonably skeptical of women's networks and not really understand how they worked. It has been a completely transformative game changer for us, particularly going through venture capital recently, where the statistic before, yes, only 3% goes to female-led business.
Please hold while the Sydney team rejoins us. It was funny, to Lucinda's point, I was thinking to myself, this has been going so smoothly, zero technical difficulties, and if anyone who's watching participated in our last year's fall global simulcast, it was definitely a learning experience where we had some technical difficulties as we navigated 4 countries and multiple time zones. So I imagine we'll hear from Lucinda in a moment here, but in the meantime, I wanted to share that Lucinda, along with several other of our SheEO ventures, have been featured on our relatively new SheEO.world podcast. And so I was hearing Lucinda's episode recently where she spoke about some of her past work with the UN and how her current venture, Neighbourlytics, ties together a lot of the major themes of study and passion in her life. So check out the SheEO.world podcast. It's a great way to dive deeper with our ventures in Australia and beyond. And with that, oh, here we go. Back to the crew in Sydney.
Barely. Okay. Wow. Okay. Goodness. Who's up? It's Carol. Is it me? I think so. Yes. No, but we're frozen a little bit.
Frozen.
Come on.
You're good. We can see you and you're not frozen. Carol?
We're not frozen.
You're not frozen. So here, everyone, we're excited to hear from Carol Vale, who is one of our activators, who goes back and forth between Queensland and Sydney, and today is at the Sydney event. Over to you, Carol, and thank you so much.
Barang barang, everybody. I am here in Sydney today, and I wanted to share with you, I guess, my as an activator. I've had the privilege of travelling around this country and talking to Indigenous women and Indigenous girls about SheEO and and the opportunities that can come from that. I'm backing up for a second year as an activator because I absolutely believe in women investing in women, and it is about non-Indigenous women and Indigenous women connecting together, to do exactly what. I think it's about living out loud and ticking off those boxes on the world to-do list. Minister Jones there in Queensland. My home is in Queensland on the lands of the Jagera people, but I'm here today on the lands of the Eora Nation, and I can assure you that there's Indigenous women across this country ready to come to Brisbane next year, so that's exciting. I also just got back from PNG, and there are women in the Pacific wanting to be part of SheEO, and so us women here in Australia have the, I guess we can now look at how we can support our sisters in the Pacific to join with SheEO. Through my initiative Titters in Business, which is about bringing Indigenous and non-Indigenous women together, I intend to bring some of our PNG women to the Brisbane event, and so very excited about that. What else can I say? I've met some of the women in Queensland, Indigenous women in Queensland that government has supported to join SheEO, and if their stories are anything to go by, then we're going to have an amazing event next year. Vickie, you talked about Australian women here being able to share our stories quite loudly and broadly. This country is founded on an oral history. And so we do that. That's what we do well. We share stories, and this is about us coming together to do that. I'm very excited about SheEO, and then connecting that not just across the songlines and storylines of this country, but also with other Indigenous women across the world. I look forward to 2020.
Right. And hello. I am Christina Freeman. I'm co-founder of Grow Your Mind, which is a mental health social venture and certified B Corp. And we teach young children, their families and whole school communities about the importance of looking after their mental health and ways they can do this, drawing on the latest positive psychology and mindfulness research. For me, I am actually now an activator because the impact that SheEO has had has been so huge. When we were at the summit, I think we're in 85 or 100 schools and over 500 homes. We are now in over 200 schools in Australia and abroad and over 800 homes. But I had this very clear before and after SheEO delineation. Before becoming a SheEO venture, I was deep in imposter syndrome territory. We'd grown very quickly. We were looking at how to scale, how to grow this next stage of Grow Your Mind. And I was really unsure whether I was the best person to do that and how we would do that. Now, I think becoming a SheEO venture just gave me the confidence that I was exactly where I needed to be. And if I didn't have the answers, then I had this incredible network that could actually help me reach this next stage. So I think a lot of the other ventures have talked about the fortnightly mentoring that we get, which is so invaluable. MJ has been extraordinary and helped me realise the leader that I want to be, the female business leader I want to be, but also troubleshoot the day-to-day problems that come up as a business, but also the bigger strategic kind of decisions that need to be made so that we can grow financially, but also have the impact that we want to in this mental health space. I think, though, we've had such incredible support in troubleshooting a lot of these problems through that activator community too. And there's such a long list, but I do want to speak about 3 activators because they show a range of ways that as an activator you can support ventures. So first, Julie Dempsey, you called me to let me know that I was one of the SheEO ventures. You've always been very personally supportive. You reminded me that I was, the right person to be here right now. And you've also, hosted Activator meetings, which I think is the gold of this community. It's not just about the ventures. As activators, we come together and we can share our business challenges, our successes, where we are personally, and we can hold each other in that, but also offer support, skills, advice. And this is really what such a rich part of this, being part of this community, is all about. Cheryl Pearl, marketing was something that my co-founder and I really cringed at the thought of, but we realised we needed to have some skills in it to help grow Your Mind. Your wisdom, your energy, you ran a market research group for us that has really helped us understand the language when it comes to talking about mental health, particularly in a preventative way. So thank you so much. And finally, Margaret Chang, who I don't think is here in Sydney today, but she ran a kick-ass event last Saturday, Emergent 2050, part of SparkFest. It was looking at businesses that are helping solve the problems to take us into the future. And she encouraged and really supported me in to be able to exhibit and speak at that event. And despite being incredibly busy on the day, made sure that she was connecting me with all the people that could help grow our network, but help us, grow and reach the people that we need to. So it's been an incredibly generous community, one that we have shared our successes with, that have helped us reach those successes. And I'm really excited as an activator now how I can start giving back.
Is she frozen? Okay. Jessie, you're frozen on my screen, but I think we're still moving. Sounds good. So hello everyone, I'm Julie Trell. I'm currently head of Miradi, and I've also been the crazy person to follow Vickie Saunders and bring SheEO to not only the US, but to Australia. So this is actually my third year as an activator. Before I go into what I want to talk about, there's a few people that I need to recognize for today. This is a big undertaking of technology and time zones. So Madeline Grummett, who is the founder of Girl World down in Melbourne, hello, thank you for being the MC, along with Deb Peterson and Erin Hopkins from Brilliant Connected Women of Telstra to making it happen at the Telstra site down there, so thank you. And then also running the show solo with a great women showing up is Marianne Anderson in the Gold Coast, so thank you for making this all happen across time zones and across breakfasts. So what I want to share with you today is a memory in the future, and you're all part of it. So join me in remembering the future. Okay, it's 2025. We've got more than 35 companies in the Australia SheEO portfolio. They're all tackling the world's to-do list, making significant strides to the 2030 deadline. They've doubled in size, in revenue, in employees, and in market reach. They're across at least three continents. And all of this because of that Perpetual fund that you decided to join on October 24th, 2019. The fund has been replenished, it's ongoing, not only because of your activation, but because you've helped the ventures and the founders be successful to pay that loan back. So that's what the portfolio looks like. What does it look like for you as activators? So remember all those companies that you got to review and give feedback to and select to be ventures in the next cohort. Found that dream job, working education system, disrupting how adults and kids learn. Another one of you did some follow-on funding, and not only are you getting a financial return on your investment, but you're helping an Indigenous community get access to capital. And every single one of you in that room on October 24th, 2019, gained the confidence to learn that it never hurts to ask. Just like Christina shared, when all of those people that I think she talked about were all from an ask, give exercise, which we'll do later. As a venture, as a venture in this future, you were sitting here in this room on the simulcast at a breakfast, I don't have time to do this. But you decided, okay, I'm gonna put aside 20, 30 minutes and answer the 10 questions. No pitch decks, no jargon, but you answered those 10 questions. And what you got out of that, you got feedback, you got jobs, people are asking to advise you, you've got capital, and you were so excited and proud of yourself that you applied yourself on that day on October 24th, 2019. And as an activator, you're looking back and you are very proud that you decided to make that choice. Today, you're looking back on what you did yesterday. So in 6 years from now, you've officially changed, you've helped change the landscape of how founders are funded, how female founders are funded, how women invest. And radical generosity is not just a hashtag, it's not just a trend, it's how people show up in the world. Over to you, Jess.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Julie. And huge thanks to Julie, Monica, Carol, the Honorable Minister Kate Jones, and our 5 incredible ventures for sharing their stories and their impact updates since we last met together at the summit. So I'm not sure about all of you, but I'm feeling super energized and inspired, and so wanted to share a few next steps and how you can participate in our community going forward. And to quote one of our SheEO activators, Sherry Deutschman, we can continue to be frustrated with the state of the world, or we can do something about it. So if you're feeling inspired by what you heard today from our SheEO activators and ventures, we invite you to become an activator at SheEO.world. As an activator, you can contribute $1,100. We now have a monthly payment option of $92 a month to a perpetual fund for women-led ventures like Lucinda and Jenny and Nicola and Yaz and Christina, my apologies, to fund these incredible women entrepreneurs. And remember that your contribution will cycle forward to fund the next cohort and next cohort in perpetuity. As an activator, you also have the opportunity to vote for the ventures that you're passionate about. You can join an online community with 4,000 women around the world who you can ask for help from and turn to for support. And then you're also invited to join in-person and virtual events, such as the one today and our really exciting Australian Summit on the 2nd of April in Brisbane. Becoming an activator is a simple, practical action that you can take to create a better world today. Again, the link is SheEO.world. And as mentioned, venture applications are also open now. So if you are a woman entrepreneur and your business is majority women owned and majority women led, and you're able to answer the question of how you are creating a better world, we really encourage you to apply to SheEO. As Julie just mentioned, it's super simple. 10 questions. It used to be 12 last year, so it's now 10. There's no pitch decks, no jargon, no attachments. One of the questions is how you're creating a better world, and another question is how you make money. So it's radically redesigned to be very simple, and some ventures who've gone on to become selected have filled it out in under 30 minutes. The deadline is the 3rd of December, and again, the URL to learn more and to apply is also our website, SheEO.world, which Caitlin is typing into the chat box as we speak. We have no time to waste. The world needs you and your leadership, and we are so excited and looking forward to welcoming you to our global community of women supporting women. Thank you so much for joining us and for participating in today's simulcast. For those who are at a live breakfast event, you now have a live Ask Give session to look forward to. Otherwise, hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks again for your time and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.